Joel Darner for Darner Chrysler-Plymouth, and here is Kurt Russell starring in a film here on our lot. Let him tell you about it.
Thank you, Joe. Yes, we're shooting a picture called Used Cars for Columbia Pictures, and even we haven't got deals like this. Take this 79 Chrysler here. You get a $300 rebate directly from Chrysler, plus Darner's discount of $1,700. If you can beat it, go somewhere else. I don't think you can. The best wheels, best deals on wheels, right, Joe?
Right, absolutely, Kurt. That's at Darner Chrysler-Plymouth.
Hello and welcome back to my review series on novelty board games. Now that I finally have the instructions, today we'll be taking a look at Escape from New York, the game, a board game tie-in to the 1981 movie. Before the advent of video games, board games were the best way to create cheap entertainment that could profit off a big-name film production. Many films from the 1960s onward have a now obscure board game tie-in somewhere in circulation. Today we'll be taking a look at the board game tie-in. Hold on a second here. I'm sorry. That is really annoying. Anyway, today we'll be taking a look at the board game tie-in to my absolute favorite movie, Escape from New York. Roll 'em! The artwork on the box and game cards is pretty cool. It doesn't look much like the film characters, but the comic book style art is appropriate for the feel of the game. You can tell whoever made this game put some effort into it, unlike, say, Trump. The box cover appears to have Snake Plissken straight up kidnapping the president. Meanwhile, on the game board we have King Kong Russell here about to step on the World Trade... moving on. Anyway, and I know this sounds nitpicky, but the dice are noticeably smaller than standard dice. Why? Well, at least there's no T's on them. The game pieces are awful. These are the most generic and boring pieces you can get. They are so dull, they genuinely seem out of place in this relatively creative board design. It's really sad that the Trump pieces are more interesting. The game works best with 3 or 4 players, and I find it fun to have each player assume the role of a character from a Kurt Russell movie. So we got Escape from New York, Kurt Russell, Escape from LA, Kurt Russell. They are different people, believe me.
You are Snake Plissken, aren't you?
It used to be.
So then there's, we'll say, Used Cars, Kurt Russell.
You're gonna love it, Stan! Trust me! Shit! There goes a perfectly good bumper sticker.
And let's see, who else? How about Tango and Cash, Kurt Russell? Okay, not Tango and Cash, Kurt Russell. Let's see. Oh, maybe The Thing, Kurt Russell. But he is kind of boring.
Yeah, fuck you too!
How about Overboard, Kurt Russell? Overboard. You know, where a lovable and charming Kurt Russell takes in an amnesia-stricken Goldie Hawn and convinces her that she's his wife, and then forces her to raise his terrible children. What the fuck?
Just gotta get your memory back that way. So, you gotta do what you normally do.
What is it I normally do?
I prepared and handled raw food.
I hunt it, you cook it.
Anyway, the goal of the game is to enter New York and search around the highlighted locations on the map for clues that will lead you to either the tape card or the president card. Once you acquire the tape or the president card, you then attempt to return to your starting point or one of the bridges to escape. The first player to escape the board wins. Each turn goes like this. You roll the dice and move your piece to the highlighted destinations on the board. When you arrive, you then draw an encounter card. The encounter cards are various enemies that can potentially hurt you. You decide whether to avoid, befriend, or attack them, and then roll the dice. If your die roll is high, you move on. If it's not, you lose cards from your hand. If you run out of cards, your character dies. If you succeed, you collect a clue card, which will help lead you to the president or the tape. When you have enough clues to know where one of those is, you move to that location and collect it. Once the president or the tape is on the board, the game gets intense. It becomes an all-out war on whoever has it. See, players can also attack each other, and whoever wins that battle can steal 2 cards from the loser, including the tape or the president. Once a player gets the tape or the president to their starting point or a bridge, they escape and win. So if Escape from LA Kurt Russell has the president, and Escape from New York Kurt Russell catches up to him, Escape from New York Kurt Russell has to roll the dice to see if he even finds him. If he doesn't find him, it's probably because, 2 eye patches between 2 people would make that difficult. Now, if Escape from New York Kurt Russell actually found Escape from LA Kurt Russell, I think he would just kind of be disappointed. The encounter cards are characters straight from the movie. Punks, crazies, bandits, gypsies, and Indians? What? Why would they include such an awkward element of the film in this game? And even the instructions acknowledge how uncomfortable this is. Take a look at how Indians are described. Yep, just another ethnic group. Whatever. That's all. Nothing to see here. Other cards include film characters like Brain.
Swear to God, Snake, I don't know.
Maggie.
Your Pliskin?
Cabby.
Oh, Snake Plissken in my cap? Wait till I tell Eddie.
Romero. Slag. And the Duke.
What did I teach you?
There's another card that ends the game in 3 turns to prevent the game from being overly long, and perhaps trying to tie in Snake Plissken's time limit into the game. Honestly, it's quite annoying. This card should really just be kept out of the gameplay. Is the game fun? Absolutely yes, but only after the president or the tape is on the board, which can take a while. Searching for those cards can be tedious, and no one really wants to attack each other until those cards are in play. Honestly, the first part drags a little bit, but the second part is a lot of fun. Definitely worth a playthrough if you can find it, as the game is long out of print. And if you're wondering, yes, I actually am lucky enough to own 2, because the first one I bought didn't come with instructions. I guess this means I can now play as 8 Kurt Russell characters. One more, and that's a baseball team. You know, of all of the Kurt Russells, the one that would probably win would be the Overboard Kurt Russell. Because frankly, that character is just slimy enough to survive the New York prison environment. I mean, he would probably just chloroform the president and say they were on their way to a romantic getaway in New Jersey. I mean, think about that movie. Kurt Russell takes advantage of an amnesia-stricken woman and forces her to raise his 4 terrible children. Not to mention helping himself to some of her money. Yeah, I get it. She was a bitch in her former life, and yeah, her husband doesn't want to be back together with her. But still, I mean, the amount of evil issues that this movie tries to circumnavigate itself around is frankly really upsetting. I mean, there's issues of kidnapping, slavery, sexual assault, deceit, mass deceit, goes without saying, and it's packaged up into be this cutesy little romantic comedy when really you're laughing at evil, horrible evil. And yeah, they're like a couple in real life, so it's harmless. But no, if that was like a news story, you would be appalled. I mean, at least I hope you would be. This isn't charming. This is awful. Who would? Why is this a movie? Who would like this? Oh, man. Really upsetting stuff. Anyway, that's Escape from New York, the board game. Join me next time for when I review... Oh, hold on a second. What's that commotion out there?
Gentlemen, I'm sorry you can't go in there right now. Listen, I'm sorry, but
Hi there. We're the cops you've been trying to kill.
Say again?
Been expecting us?
Not really. Well, actually, yes.
I can't touch you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say that's true.
But you're dirty, Ace.
You hitting on me? 'Cause I'm, not interested.
And I'm patient.